Dynamic search ads use your website's content to target your ads and help to automatically keep your campaigns up to date using all the relevant keywords. Campaign search ad headlines are generated using your website's content. This keeps your ads relevant while saving you time. All it is required is to create a description for your ad. They are well suited to advertisers of a well-developed website or a large inventory. Let's look at an example of a dynamic search ad in practice. Here I've done a search for the 𝒂𝒂 ride-on, and here these top two here are dynamic search ads. Now we can tell that because the title here is the page title for these sites. So if we look at this 𝒀𝒏𝒂𝒏 site, we look at the page code and find the title, we can see that this title here, that is the page title, is the same as is used in the ad. So Google is using the title to generate the headline for the ad. So why should you think about using DSAs? There are a number of distinct advantages DSAs have over normal text ads. First, they're a massive time saver. Ads are automatically generated based on the content of your site. This is particularly useful if you run a site in multiple languages, so there's no need to specify keywords. Dynamic search ads display relevant dynamically generated headlines. When a customer searches for something relevant to your business, Google dynamically creates an ad with a clear headline for the most relevant page on your site. So as we saw in the example previously, it will use the title of your page, which will drive the customer will click on that, which will take them directly to that page. So it displays relevance throughout the search journey. Gives you lots of control. Ads can be shown based on your entire website or specific pages or categories. In a moment, we're going to talk about targeting. It's a great way of generating new keywords. So when you generate targets for your site normally and you manually put those in, you obviously can't cover every single keyword that anyone could possibly use. With dynamic search ads, Google will generate these dynamically for you, so you won't have to specify them. It increases the range of keywords that you'll be advertised on. There are, however, some situations where Google dynamic search ads are not suitable. If your site changes frequently, then it's not a good fit. Google needs time to crawl your site. If your site uses rich images or flash sites for a lot of its content, then it won't work. Google needs content to work with, or a site which is hidden behind a login. Fundamentally, if you've got a site that Google has difficulty crawling, it's going to be hard for DSAs to work. Now let's talk about how Google does targeting for DSA ads. You can specify the sections of your site that you want to advertise in a number of ways. You can specify URLs of your site, categories. These are Google generated categories. You can filter on the page content, the page title. You can specify a file called a page feed. That's normally an Excel file that you upload, which has a list of pages in it you want to advertise. Alternatively, you can just advertise on all the pages of your site. If you find that certain pages don't work, you can specify negative page targets. You can also specify negative keywords. You can't specify any so-called positive keywords targets for your site, but you can say, based on the search history you have, that you don't want to advertise on certain keywords. The dynamic targets for your dynamic search ads determines the pages on your site you want to advertise. This is set under dynamic targets in the left-hand side. If we click plus, we can create another dynamic target. First, we need to select an ad group. We only have one set up here. And you have a number of different options you can add. The first we'll talk about is specific web pages. You can determine these by using exact URLs, or you can create rules to target web pages. So if you want to do exact web pages, you would need to type them in here and add them one by one. Literally, I'm just going to add the home page, and I'm going to add a category page for bathing. Once you've clicked save, it will then appear under the list of dynamic targets. Alternatively, you can target pages using rules. If you create a rule to target specific web pages, you can create a rule based on various aspects of the site. The first one is category. This is Google generated category for your site. So these are categories that Google has generated out of the content from your site. Secondly, a custom label. That is a custom label in the feed. We'll be discussing that in a moment. Thirdly, page content. Do certain content on the page. So if you wanted to include products which had the word add to cart on them, signifying that they were in stock, then you could add that. Page title. That is the title of the page which appears in the HTML. So if we look at a product on this page, look at that. That is the page title here. That's the page title. It will be, that is specified in the back end of your website. Or finally, the URL. You can specify a portion of the URL to be filtered upon. Now, if you do that, you need to make sure that it has to be a section of the URL in between two slashes. So it can't be just a part of it, like, for example, direct. It would have to be this bit here, collections. You can combine these. So if we say wanted to do products on our site, which has the URL contains product, you could do that. And you could also do pages which have things in stock. So you could do page content equals in stock and press save. And that would combine those two rules and say the URL contains product and the page content contains in stock. And that would give you your product pages which are in stock. An efficient way of defining your targets, and in my experience a very effective one, is by using a custom feed. Custom feed has a URL in one column and a custom label in another. So I've created a custom feed, and the custom labels I'm going to advertise are the home page, the products, and the collections. There you can see custom labels equals products, custom labels equals home, and custom labels equal collections. Now let's look at how you create a custom feed. If you go into Tools and Settings and then Business Data, this is where your custom feeds are listed. If you want to add one, click Page Feed from the menu, give it a name, UK Pages, and then you just select source. So here's Google Sheets, or you can upload a file, or you can also give it a location. If we choose to upload a file, we select a file from your computer. I've created one called Page Feed 2. And if we add that, that'll be uploaded. Now, page feed must take a certain format. And here you can download the page feed format. Page feed looks like this. It's a comma delimited file. It's got two columns. And the first column is the URL, followed by comma. And the second column has your custom label in it, which in this case, we've got products, home, and collections. Now, there may be pages on your site that you do not want to advertise. For example, out of stock products or about us. The way to do that is via a negative dynamic target. Access this from the left-hand side, negative dynamic targets. You create these targets in the same way that you would create your positive targets. Click Create a Dynamic Target, select an ad group. And here you select URLs, or you can create rules to select pages. I'm going to select page content contains out of stock. This should prevent products which are out of stock advertising because they contain the phrase out of stock. Dynamic search ads can be created from ads and assets and ads on the left-hand side. The ads are created in a similar way from other search ads, except there is no need to write a headline as this is automatically generated. It is recommended you create multiple ads, and these ads will then rotate, and the most successful will be served more. If you want to create a new ad, press plus. If you want to edit this ad, press the little edit button. Google recommends creating dynamic search ads targeting groups based on user behavior. This means using Google's recommended categories as your dynamic ad targets. Google generates these custom categories based on the content of your site. Ads only match searches covered by your targets when you have relevant landing pages. You should create one DSA campaign per language. The DSA campaigns and the language of your site should match. Consider creating an all website auto target. So that means you should consider creating at least one campaign that targets all the pages on a site. That means you will not miss out any pages. Using a page feed to target pages gives you precise control over which pages you target. Use URL targeting and custom labels to create different ad groups. For example, if you sell multiple brands, you could label these in your page feed and then create customized description text, ad extensions, or performance goals on a brand-by-brand basis. You should avoid adding top-performing keywords as keywords in other campaigns. DSA reaches top-performing queries with customized headlines and specific landing pages. Only add these keywords to manual campaigns if you believe you are targeting these keywords more precisely. Exclude non-transactional pages. Site pages like blogs, career pages, or out of stock or discontinued items are unlikely to get a good return on investment. It is best practice to add these pages as negative targets. Add negative keywords. Increase return on investment by excluding queries that are not performing. By viewing your search terms report, you can identify terms you want to exclude and add these as negative keywords. Search terms are accessible from the left-hand side menu under Keywords and Search Terms. From this page, you can see the performance of the keywords. If you've got any which are underperforming, say for example that they have a very low click-through rate or a very low conversion rate, costing you effectively more money than they're making you, you can then add them as negative keywords under the negative keyword option. As with most other Google Ads campaigns, using smart bidding is a good way of saving time, and it generally produces better results as Google has much more data than you have and can make changes much more frequently. Finally, you need to optimize your website for your ads. Make your page titles descriptive and compelling, as titles are often incorporated into your automated headlines. Google recommends that you limit your page titles to 90 characters, include a call to action, and also include the product name.